Hey guys, Sharpend here, and in this video we're going to break down Through the Night, the second single for my EP. So Through the Night is basically a response to the first song from the EP, Not Lost and Found. And Not Lost and Found sort of describes finding out you have a problem. It could be with someone or with yourself. And then Through the Night is sort of conquering this problem on your own, realizing you can do it without the help of someone else. And it actually started with a splice sample I found. It's from a pack by Laxity and Medicine. It sounds absolutely great. And once I heard it, I just started adding a bass synth and a hang drum pluck. And then I eventually wanted to replace the bass synth with actual playing. So I've used my electric guitar. I've played the bass like this. And as you can hear, it adds a very nice slide feel to the bass when you play on a real instrument. And I really like that because in a lot of pop songs in that style you have that sliding bass. And eventually I got to meet up with a friend who has a bass guitar, and I replaced my playing with a bass guitar, but I've also kept it as an additional layer just because why waste it? So before I go into FL Studio to show you how I produced the song, I want to show you a few instruments that I've used to create some nice additions, real-life additions to this song. So we have the Spatial Delivery guitar pedal. I've talked a lot about this in the flickering breakdown video. Basically, I've just fed into it a bunch of sounds that I already had from the project, and I've used this setting. It's called Sample on Hold, to just create some really weird sounds that I can then later on use. I've also used my guitar to play a solo at the end of the song. I just played the main chorus melody but on the guitar, so it sounds like this. And I really like that. It's obviously a lot more distorted in the original song, but I've also used my amp. It's a big one, so I can't lift it, but I've used a bit of its effects to add some variation to the synths in the song. I've used an envelope filter, which is basically like an auto wah, and I've used it to just add some wah to a synth sound. You can sort of hear the difference. It just adds a nice wah to every note you play. And I've also used this kalimba. It's a fish can. It's a herring in soy oil, and I've just used it because it has these tiny rings on it, so it adds a very nice high-end sort of sound. Obviously I've resampled it because the notes are really out of scale, but just like the nice buzz that it adds is really great, and I've used it to add some variation at the end of the song. And one more thing that I've used is some mortar and pestles. So these guys, basically I just had a few of these and I took a few from my grandma, and I just used this to do this. And I've had 4 different sizes, so here's another one. Oh, I'm muting it. I'm still muting it. Wait. Yeah, like that. So I've basically sampled 4 of these, and I've used them as tiny bells to add some nice color to the track. And it's just really fun using stuff you have at home that you probably wouldn't use in a track, and just trying to find a place for these in there. So all of these sounds sort of add a nice organic touch to the whole song, because most of it is produced in electronic. And now we're going to go into the DAW and just see how I made it. Okay, so now we're inside the project file for Through the Night, and it starts very basic. So you have a bass synth. I think, yeah, it's the one I made for the Billie Eilish tutorial I made a while ago, and it's this very basic bass line. And then I've added a bunch of notes to make it more interesting. They're an octave above. It's just really nice to add these little touches. Effects wise, I've added some distortion to this bass. You hear it sounds a bit more controlled but also a bit more distorted. There's a snap sound at the start and my vocals. And then we start adding things. So we have some of the Spatial Delivery things I've mentioned. And this is just some Foley that I've recorded. Here's some more Foley. This is a pin, and this is just some leaves. And we have some impact sounds, like these, and a kick. Let's see what else we have here. We have this hang drum sample. It has some delay, and it's sort of like playing a melody that's sort of answering to my voice. You changed them. And we have some more Spatial Delivery things. Let's see if we can hear it better. Yeah, alright. So the bass is exactly the same here. We've just added a few kicks every once in a while. And there's some vinyl crackle throughout. I've recorded it on my vinyl record player. It's very basic, and it has a pitch down envelope. You can hear it going down. And some more impact. And then once we get here, we have a nice little fill of a few various drums I've found. You have the main kick and some other weird drums that all together create this fill. I really like this one. And I think that we just add these loops and that's it. This is some percussive loop, and this is an oven clock that I recorded at my house. Yeah, so together they sound really nice. And I think it also fits with the theme of the song being about time. And as for the ending, we have the same bass synth, but it's going down in pitch. Here we have a pitch automation. So it's very subtle, but it goes down in pitch a bit, and you have the same drum fill here. And now we get to the chorus. So in the chorus we have the splice sample I mentioned. Here it is. It's being reverbed, and I also think high-passed in the chorus. Yeah, it's high-passed in the chorus. And I've increased these frequencies so you can hear these tiny vocal chops a bit better. And they're being delayed as well, so you can hear them even better. And we have this Virtual Riot Atmospheres pack. Basically, I'm just playing the chords of the songs using various atmosphere sounds. It's a great pack, you should definitely get it. And we have our bass. So Here's the original bass I played on the electric guitar. It's high-passed a bit to make room for the real bass guitar I've recorded later on. Notice how much slidiness it just adds to the whole track. And I've layered it with a drum loop I found on Splice as well. And once you add more punchy drums, I've just added on all of the kicks a stronger kick sound and a stronger snare sound. And I've added a ghost snare every once in a while. And once you add the vinyl crackle and some more Foley, we have some random hits of like random fruit from some tree I had near my house. You get a really nice groove and a really nice sounding drum loop. Like you have a very acoustic sound, you have some more electronic hits, and you have some Foley sounds to make it sound a bit more organic. So altogether you get a really nice sound, and the hang drum from before is still playing. So altogether you get something like this with my voice. And I've added some variant cymbals here. They're being sidechained. You can hear that effect. And it adds a very nice touch in my opinion. And then when the chorus repeats itself, I've added this sound, which is just like a high note that is very reverbed. Also from Splice, I think. It just adds some nice excitement to the same chorus. Yeah. And then we get to the second verse. So the first thing I did in most pop songs, they stop the snares for like a bar or two and then bring them back in. And I love doing that. I've done it on Flickering on the second verse as well, so I did it here as well. You have like this sort of tape stop. Think we spent enough time here. So you have like a pitch down happening in all of the sounds here. We have the atmospheres, we have the bass, and like the vinyl crackle and some more Spatial Delivery sounds. And they're all going down in pitch. And then the snare brings them back. And then all the drums kick in like normal. And I wanted to do this thing a second time, so we have another stop here where everything stops: the bass, the vinyl crackle, the drums, the atmospheres, everything but the Spatial Delivery sounds. You can hear them and it sounds really nice. And then when we repeat this verse, I've added the same clock sound. And it's being panned from the left to the right. And I've added the same high note from before to again add some more excitement. And that's it for this part. Now instead of going into the second pre-chorus like this part again, I decided to add like a more calm down version of the second verse. So you have just like the melody loop from the chorus, you have a sub drop sound, you only have like the snaps, and that's pretty much it. I've been trying too much, maybe it's time to give up, not everything can bear itself. And then I'm using the same fill from the first verse, this thing, to lead back into a more intense section. I also have this nice delay sound. And when we get to the second part of it, we have again the sub drop, but we have a lot of drums happening. Here they are. We have this clap loop, and we also have a kick drum. And together they sort of lead into the next part. We also have some leaf sounds. They add a nice touch, and then all together it just builds an intensity. And you have a tiny drum fill here. And we're going back into the pre-chorus. So it's very similar to the first pre-chorus, but now we have drums, the same drums from the chorus. And we also have the same spatial delivery from before. And we have this guitar sound. And I think that's pretty much it. We have a nice pause here. And as you can see, I really like doing this thing where you pause and then bring it back on the snare. Like that. And then when we get to the second chorus, we have a short sub drop. And that sort of like takes all of the energy away, so we have like a moment to like relax and then bring it all in back in the second chorus. So in the second chorus, it's very similar to the first one, but I've added in the second pre-chorus and chorus the mortar and pestle that I've talked about. This is what I've added to the pre-chorus. Here's the contact instrument of all of these mortar and pestles being sampled. And for the second chorus, I've just made it play the chorus melody. Yeah. I think it just adds a nice touch of variation without being too extreme. And everything is exactly the same like the first chorus except for that, and we get to the bridge. So I really like the bridge. It has a lot of cool things happening. So you have the same splice loop from the chorus. And I wanted to keep it very minimalistic, so you have just a splice loop, some violin crackle, and a lot of choir voices in the back. It's me singing time, so you have a high voice and a low voice. And I've made quite a lot of takes for this. And they're all being heavily affected, so yeah. You have an EQ that boosts mostly the high mids and reduces some of the lows, since it's sort of like a choir thing. You have some dimension expanding, some reverb, a lot of reverb actually, some more reverb, and a compressor. So altogether you just get a very big choiry sound that's in the back compared to this. I've just sang in different places at different lengths from the microphone, at different distances from the microphone to create a choir. And I've also had my friend Noah join in and sing as well. And together we have a really nice choir, in my opinion. So all that's happening is this plus the melody loop. And then there's the vocals on top of that. And in order to add some variation, I have this loop here. It's very in the back, and that's thanks to a low pass filter. It slowly opens up and you hear it in all its glory in the final chorus. We have it here. wait, here. Basically it's just a bunch of sounds that I play together. You have the same hang drum from the pre-chorus. It's playing this bit. Wait, let me mute these. Then you have the mortar and pestle playing longer notes. And you have a different hang drum from a friend of mine. And you have the tin can kalimba that I showed you. And altogether it's just a very nice high-pitched instruments thing going on. And I really like it. So that's why it's there. So and overall, all of these together sound really great together and add a really nice variation. But let's go back to the bridge. So this is what we have. Here it is. So yeah, we have the main vocals. And we have a few like B vocals here. We have this thing. And this thing.
Think we've gone too far.
And it's sort of answering the main vocals.
Oh, well, we're thinking. Think we've gone too far. I can't find her.
And then we add the clock ticks and the high note thing.
I can't find her.
And now we have like the chorus, but very laid back, no drums at all, and only the low voice without the high voice. We have the same hang drum from the pre-chorus. And we have the atmospheres, the splice loop, and the same bells from before. And we also have this synth, which I really love. Let's hear it. So basically it's a Massive X patch. Let's find it. Yeah, so it's this patch. Basically what I'm doing is I'm using a saw wave and I'm modulating it with FM using pink noise. So you get this sort of gritty sound. And I'm low passing it a bit. But as you can hear, it sounds way too intense for this song. It's pretty relaxed, so you don't need something this intense. So I've put it through my amp with the envelope filter to get a more wah sound. And this is what I got. And I absolutely love this thing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And now, the second part of the chorus, we are sort of building it up to get to the final chorus. So I've added a lot of drums. Again, the clap loop from before. And the kick from before. Some more loops. Honestly, Kashmir is great. His loops are perfect for this type of things. And again, some leaves, a riser. And we also have this sound, which I made myself. Let's find it. It sounds awful on its own, but it just builds up in a really nice way, and the whole bass going up is very satisfying to hear in a good speaker. And one last thing that I did to really add to the intensity is to add choir voices. I've asked a few of my friends to sing with me the chorus, and they did, so it sounds like this. And overall it sounds really big and wide. So all of these things are going up in intensity and building up to get to the final chorus. And that's when you hit it with the stop drop to again reduce all the tension and bring like a clean slate into the big chorus that's going to come up next. I think that's pretty much it. I've messed a lot with drum loops. And altogether it sounds pretty good. And the good thing about Kashmir loops is that they're also kind of orchestral in nature, so they also bring something new and interesting to the table. So they're great. And then once we get to the stop drop, we only have the choir leading us into the final chorus. So this one has the bells that I mentioned from before. All of these sounds together. It has the mortar and pestle playing the chorus. Wait, like this part. And otherwise everything is pretty much the same. Yeah. And then after the chorus repeats one time, I stop it for another stop here. It's just like the clock ticking, and then we get to the guitar solo. It's just me playing with a lot of distortion. And it's very panned to one ear, and in this part I've sort of like kept only the choir vocals and not the main vocals, and they're sort of answering the guitar. So the guitar plays the first part of the melody, and then the choir answers back to it. And then again it plays the third part of the melody, and then the choir answers again. And as for the final part, I wanted it to be huge, so we have all of the choirs happening. We have the time choirs as well, so it's really big. It gets bigger, wait. So look at all of these vocal takes. And I'll just leave the bass on. So as you can hear, it just sounds really huge, and I'm also reintroducing the same wah synth from before. And with the bells, it just sounds really nice together. And we also have like some delayed melodies that I played on the 3x oscillator, and it also just like adds to the whole spaciness and feel of the track overall. So basically, this whole thing is mostly about arranging and finding a few good sounds that you can stick with and just use throughout the track. Like in my case, you can hear all of the time this loop, that sounds great, or this hang drum, or the main drums. All of these things just sound really good. So once you pick a few things that sound really great and then build around them, it sounds a lot more coherent. And this is the case of this track. You have like the main bass guitar that follows throughout the whole track. You have the same drums most of the time with a few exceptions, and a lot of choir vocals to really fill up the track without sounding like I'm adding tons of different things. It's just the human voice. So it's already familiar to us, and it doesn't show it here, but in the ending I've added a fade out because I think it just sounds perfect for this kind of song. You don't want it to end and be abrupt when it stops. You want it to keep on playing, so that's why I've added a fade out instead. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If there's something specific you'd like to know about this track, please let me know in the comments, and I'll try and make a video on it. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. I'm glad you watched this video, and I can't wait to make more breakdowns from the EP, and I'll see you in the next video.